All right, the Browns are winners for the first time in 2019, 23-3 over the New York Jets. Mary Kay, we're going to talk about the three big names on this football team and how they did. And let's start with Odell Beckham making his return to MetLife Stadium, and he lived up to it. A one-handed catch down the sideline on the first drive, and then the one that put it away, an 89-yard catch and run.
Yeah, you know what? He overcame frustration, adversity. They actually pulled him off the field on 3rd and 5 from the 5 on the first drive to make him change his visor. So he was a little bit fired up throughout the game, but he fought through that adversity, came through in the end in the third quarter with that 89-yard, just a short seam route right over the middle, touchdown catch, the longest of his career, fourth longest for the Cleveland Browns in their history, and just put this game away.
And on a day when the offense really needed it because they were slogging along out there, they finally got that big play to just break the game wide open, really after the Jets' probably best offensive series of the night. Now, speaking of that offense, Baker Mayfield's the other name to talk about. And he was, again, very up and down today. Some miscommunications, struggled a little bit with his accuracy, and just didn't look like the sharp Baker Mayfield that we saw at the end of last year.
You know, that's true. And one more thing real quick about Odell that I forgot to mention. Obviously, he came into this game, he put a target on his own back with what he said about Greg Williams with the cheap shots and the dirty plays and and Greg saying Odell who, and after the game, even Odell said Greg who, basically. So that was a whole huge storyline about this. But Baker Mayfield was confused and rattled by Greg Williams. Greg did a nice job tonight of trying to make Baker not know what he was seeing. If it was even Booger McFarland was saying on the broadcast that he would switch pre-snap from man to zone or vice versa, depending on what Baker thought it was initially going to be. And he really, really struggled tonight against all that.
Yeah, so still some things to figure out for the second-year quarterback. Now, on the defensive side, Myles Garrett, career-high 3 sacks. He's leading the NFL in sacks. He's barreling towards the Browns team record. It looks like, obviously 2 weeks in here, it looks like he's going to end up catching that number this season. But also a couple of penalties, a couple roughing the passer penalties. So a lot of good from Myles, but still a little recklessness, a little bit out of control.
Yeah, and Freddie pulled him aside and had a conversation with him about that and said, you know what, go out there and get the sacks. Do not hurt this football team. He thought that was a good call on Trevor Siemian, the one that knocked him out of the game and left the Jets playing with their third-string quarterback. So I do think that the Browns defense shouldn't pat itself on the back too much. They just couldn't do anything, the Jets offense tonight. But Myles does have to learn the difference between being aggressive and crossing over that line. And he did cross the line a couple times tonight, but he made up for it with the sacks, which is what they want.
Yeah, and the reality is he's been in the league long enough, and we know these quarterback rules well enough at this point that you know what you can and can't do. Even if you think some of these roughing calls are a little soft sometimes, you know what you can and can't do, and Myles has been in the league long enough to be able to pull up or prevent some of those penalties from happening. All right, football insiders, thanks for watching this. Make sure you tell your friends, your family, your flag football teammates, whoever they are, sign up for Football Insider. And thanks for watching, everybody.